The workloads were moving from block-based storage over to file-based. There was no real platform that was there to take advantage of this file-based transition. So ISILON ended up designing this world-class software using commodity hardware, an environment that would be easy to scale, but extremely well-performing. I now buy, let's say, a traditional storage, and it's going to be the fastest it's going to be on day one. But as you add more disks to it, you're going to start putting now more workload on it. As you put more workload on it, of course, the other workloads that were originally there aren't going to be as fast as they used to be. In the ISILON approach, what they've done instead is each node, when you add them into the cluster, is it gives you more memory and also more CPU. So in doing so, as you add more nodes into this environment, the cluster gets faster and faster and faster. You have the volume manager, you have the data protection, and the file system all into one operating system. And that's fantastic compared to other vendors because they'll sometimes have multiple operating systems. But with the OneFS file system is you have something which is extremely scalable, powerful, modern pointer-based file system. Now, instead of spending all of that time managing these different containers, it's one big file system. So on the data protection side, we end up having Snapshot IQ for snapshotting files and directories. Sync IQ is all about replication across sites or within the same site, but across two separate clusters. Smart Connect is about load balancing those front-end connections. We also have something very, very unique, which is the backup accelerator. The backup accelerator is about offloading the backup requirements so that those other nodes don't need to take that task on. Then if you look on the data management side, you have smart pools. When the data is hot, it's sitting inside the S series nodes. And as the data gets colder, it moves down into the archive nodes. You can have the S nodes, which are their high IOP nodes to provide very, very fast IOP interactions for like databases and things like that. The X series is all about throughput. So if you look at media and entertainment or let's say security like cameras and stuff like that, you would use the X series. The NL series is all about being low cost, low energy, but also very, very deep, meaning that it has very large amounts of storage into a 4U cabinet or a 4U rack space. But one thing which is very, very unique to ISILON compared to any other storage is HDFS is for Hadoop. If you look at the Hadoop world, in that world, what you do is you take the data, you copy it into Hadoop, and then you have to copy it out to analyze it. In the ISILON world, all of a sudden, a large advantage that you have is that when you take the data and you put it on the ISILON, you can actually leave the data there and do everything that you need to do, even the analysis of the data within the ISILON. So you remove that copy step. But you're also trying to make sure that you're making the most efficient use of all of the nodes within the cluster. So a situation might be where you have 1, 2, 3 nodes that are 100% full, and all of a sudden what you do is you add this fourth node over here, it's got all of the space. What you want to do is spread all of that workload so that they're now all at 80%. And in doing so, you'll get better throughput because it's across more nodes, but you also get more efficiency. ISILON has a very, very unique efficiency feature in regards to its parity scheme. Let's say we use an N+2. If I had 2 failures, all of a sudden now the storage would still be available. If I had an N+4 within my cluster, so I had 4 different separate failures, the data is still available, which no one else can provide. I can even do that all the way to an 8-way mirror. The best anyone else can do in the industry is RAID 6. With a RAID 6 is 2 disk failures. And this is applied at the file or directory level, which is again, very, very unique. Everyone else does it at the container. ISILON does it for the whole cluster. So you can have a brand new generation mixed with an old generation, all within the same cluster. So it's all about that investment protection. When you want to retire the old nodes, you can evacuate the data off of those onto the newer nodes, and it's all done while serving data with 0 downtime. So one of the side benefits, I can take a set of nodes and bring it out of the cluster, use it for another project, and then bring them right back into that same cluster, and it'll redistribute all of that using the auto balance feature. If you look at ISILON, it ends up really helping you make sure that you're going to focus your attention to the data and bring in business value out of the data. So if you can generate more profits out of the data, if you can sit there and take more strategic approaches to your business using that data. This is what ISILON is all about.